Hi, welcome to What Remains. My name's Pete, and on this episode we have come through to North Wales. It's a good 4-hour drive from where I live, so I've made a bit of an expedition, and we are going to be exploring a time capsule type farm. Now, if you've not seen my Sunderland wick farm, there was a spectacular find there for the old bellows for the blacksmiths and the blacksmith building. This is like 100 years ago. I'm not joking. I'm going to turn the camera around. I'm going to walk you into the rooms exactly as I see them, and then I'll put the lights on just to give you a bit more definition. So to give you a bit of perspective where you are, we are high up in the hills, and this is how overgrown the farm building is. As you can see, there's really not a lot to see. This is our path in, and our first room is on the left. Now I suspect this may well have been a food preparation type area. We have got, because we're in Wales, instead of sandstone, we have a huge plinth made of slate. Underneath there we've got milk churns. I have looked to see if there's any makers brands on those, but there isn't. And then we've got the chimney breast here, and if we look into the bottom of that chimney breast there, we can see the old oven, the stove, the fire. And then we've got another seating area possibly around there. Now that's not even half of what's here. As we actually go through to the house that remains, I'm hoping the lighting is enough. There we go. Look at this. Now I know some of that's in darkness for you, but I can see perfectly well, and I will be putting the light on for you. But I want you to see the effect that I'm getting. Now this is the sitting room area, and that's the door. I'm going to put the light on now. A big old wooden door, and then we've got this shielding here to prevent the outside weather pouring straight into the house and into the fireplace down there. Now if you look at this, we've still got the old rice tin there, the fireplace, looks like Mellard Aberley, the makers of this, Dale's Excelsior. And then if you go over to the shelving again, we can see the old bottles there, the old milk bottles, Heinz vinegar, and some remains of what was once possibly a book cupboard, which you still get these in modern, well, say modern, in the back-to-back houses, those cupboards. So as we've come through there, we've got a room on our left. This could well have been a bedroom. Again, we've got old bottles everywhere, an old clear one there. So have a look at the bottom of that. No maker's mark. And then old bottles up on the shelving unit there with some liquids in. Now that, you might notice there's a doorway there. That's blocked up because on the other side of that is really something quite unique and special, and I can't wait to show you that. Again, this door, well, I'm going to put you at eye height. I have to crouch down to get through that door. The floor's stone flagged, and then we go through to what I think actually is the bedroom. Big old wooden door. Again, I'm having to duck down, and we've still got a picture on the wall down there. Who knows how long this has been stood like this, abandoned and empty. Maybe this Hoover with the Bakelite plug will give you some indication. Bakelite switches are all high up, so they're trying to save up on the copper wiring. Got horsehair plaster ceiling, and very, very old dated pictures, whoever they are. 2 swallows on a tin, or a swallow on a windmill. Bluebird toffee. And then here we've got some kind of lantern that plugs into the lights, and we've got military photo there. I hope you can see that, maybe identify the uniform, and more family photographs. So whoever did live here lived here for a long time. And there's a wardrobe and some things. I'm going to turn the light off now, just so that you can get the atmosphere. And I mean, it feels absolutely lovely and wonderful. And what a beautiful location and building. Absolutely incredible. Now that is inside the house. Outside there are some milking sheds. There isn't really a great deal to see there. They're fairly modernish. I say modern, they're not modern at all. They're a lot newer than this. But there's nothing in there to see. Maybe a feeder trough made out of galvanised steel. If you want to know what that is, go back and watch my Sunderland Wick farm. And next door is really quite a special part of this farm, and I cannot wait to take you in there. So let's get over there now. So right there behind me, you can see this door. That is really quite unique, quite special. I've only seen this twice before on an old farm. It is the remaining blacksmith's building. And again, I'm going to show you this as I see it when I walk in with the light in. We just pop our finger through there, lift the latch, open the door. It's quite a step up. There is a bit of a land erosion. Hopefully the camera's going to adjust its light. And we've got a path through the centre. There is a fair bit of light leaking into here. There we've got an animal trap hanging. But through there you can see the fire. So that is where there would have been heating and cooking possibly as well, but really heating up a lot of the products to keep them warm. Now I don't see any bellows in here, but what we do see is this old, what I would suggest is for cooling down the water. It's lined, the jacket probably had water in there to stop fractures, and we've got a tap down here. Maybe it was a heater, galvanised barrel. Old pair of shoes down there, or an old shoe. Now I'm going to put the light on, because look at this. We've got old, genuine Massey Harris spare parts. Nothing behind there. That's where that room is, where the door's blocked up. But look at this. That. We've got the old wheel, and as you would expect, still functioning. Cupboard, looks like a cycle bell of some description. Old oil cans. Hopefully somebody would know what that is, or ear tags. There, and look at this saw here, just hanging. You need to be careful not to get that. More barrels, we've got wooden barrels here. And then we go through to the back. This is potentially where it's storing things. We've got another slate bench there, and another slate bench there. Now this for me is incredibly exciting to see this. I can't believe it, I really can't. And I feel absolutely privileged to be able to come here and see this. Old gas oil lantern there, look. Another oil lantern there, an old hand drill. Now I need to be careful of that saw, because that just caught my bag and I don't want to bring it down on me. Now I've been very excited to come here and show you this farm. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as what I have. Some very, very special finds here. And it is almost like it was 100 years ago. You could imagine these people living in poverty for the landowners while they took all the profits, and yet they lived on the breadline. Now the blacksmiths is quite an unusual and special find for this building. and that's what I really enjoyed being able to show you. So if you've enjoyed it, please stay tuned. There are other videos coming on all sorts of topics. I cover everything I possibly can that I find interesting, and I hope you do too. Please take care, and I'll see you in the next one.